Okay. So could you explain Mano and Vachi Sankara? What I understood is that Mano is the part that comes automatically and Vachi is the speech and conscious thoughts. This is how it's explained in the Tripitaka. Kaya Sanchetana, Kaya Sankara. Vachi Sanchetana, Vachi Sankara. Mano Sanchetana, Mano Sankara. Right? All these three are to do with Chetana. Chetana. Che is the Chittaya. Chitta is the thought. Thananava is the creating or making or developing. The thought. So we develop thoughts for three things. One to think, one to speak, one to act. Right? Those are the three. So Mano Sanchetana, if it is to do with thinking itself, then it's Mano Sankara. If it's Vachi Sanchetana, then Vachi Sankara. If it's to do with speech, you can't just speak, you have to think. And you have to create the thought to think, to speak. So that is the Vachi Sanchetana. Then you have the Kaya Sanchetana. In order to do anything, to act, you have to think. You have to create the thinking for that. It happens so fast that you don't realize that you are creating a thought to act. You are creating a thought to speak, or you are creating a thought to think. But it happens so fast, so you don't realize it. That is how it happens. And those are the three. There are so many things that you don't realize that you do it purposely. When you even the breathing is done purposely, even though we don't know that. This might confuse you, but when you go to Chaturthya Dhyana and when you go to higher jhana, there are when you go to Nirodha Samapattiya, where the breathing stops, you don't breathe anymore. You can stay for 7 days without food, water or anything, right? Then you don't breathe when you go to Nirodha Samapattiya. Then when you come back from the Nirodha Samapattiya, then you understand that you have to put an effort to breathe, even breathing. So there are so many things that we think we don't put an effort, but we do put an effort to it. So this Pancha Upadanaskandhya, we put an effort to do that. You have to put an effort to think, but you don't realize it. If you close your eyes and watch your mind, when you hear a noise, you have to put an effort. You will see that clearly. If you look very closely, if you watch very closely, what happens to your mind? So if you when you do the meditation, it's called Chitta Bhavana as well, right? You are watching your mind. So if you are watching your mind, you will see, okay, so now you hear a noise. Then your mind has to put an effort to think about it. What is that? And you are the one who's running around looking for that. You're thinking about it. What is that? I have heard this before, this and that and this and that. You are putting an effort. But once when you go to higher jhana, you will realize that this is what a waste of effort. Then that is when you enjoy the real happiness coming from inside. So you don't put an effort to think. What is the point of thinking? You are spending a lot of time thinking. And another thing is, when you meditate, you might have realized that after some time you have to take a long breath like that. You might have heard that from even Thero does that, because when you are in higher jhana, what happens is you don't need to breathe a lot. You need to breathe when you are not in the dhyana. You need a lot of energy when you are in the normal world. When you are not in the normal world, you don't need a lot of energy. That is why you don't need a lot of food. That is why they only have one meal sometimes, because one meal can provide enough energy for you if you're only doing meditation. But if you're running around looking for asada, running around with raga, dvesha, moha, then you need a lot. You talk a lot, you think a lot, you act a lot, then you need a lot of energy. But if you're not thinking too much, there's nothing to think about. There is nothing to talk about. There is nothing to do. Then you don't need a lot of energy. So that is how it works.